Well, hello. I'm here. I'm going to be doing a first impressions of a Reform 4383 fountain pen, and I'm experimenting with a few things on this with this camera. I noticed my last time I had some lagging audio issues, so I'm trying out this camera's microphone. So if you can hear me or can't hear me, I'd sure love to know. I will be interested to hear this afterwards to see how the audio actually sounds, because it doesn't look like much of a microphone compared to the Yeti Blue that I usually use. Okay, Chris Sane says the sound is great, so that's good to hear. So don't look at my cluttered coffee table. All right, so the pen in question, let's get this centered around. The pen in question, oops. Okay, Joanne W. can hear me just fine. Good. The pen in question has a kind of a fool operating the camera. There we go. Oops, still not right. Is that right? No. Okay, I have to remember that the screen is backwards. He says audio is lagging a bit. Lagging video a bit for me, but not a big problem. Okay, good to hear. So this is my Reform 4383. I had to remind myself that what I see is backwards from what you see. See, I just moved it the wrong way again. So this is a pen I got from myuberpens.com. I see that they actually have another one for sale right now because I was just curious while I was waiting for everything to start. These stickers will probably disappear down the road, just through use and such, because my pens aren't kept as showpieces. My pens actually get used. I did not get original packaging with it. So Reform 4383 and then the 175 and a 585, which refers to the nib. A little bit of design on the nib, or I'm sorry, on the clip that I haven't seen before. The autofocus doesn't like me getting too close with this. There we go. Or here, let's just do this, because I learned I can. Or not. Okay, anyway, there's a little bit of design there that I just found kind of interesting. I just haven't seen it on other reforms. If I turn off one of the lights, that'll help it show up better. Oh my gosh, turning off the lights actually helped a lot. I do have a light on this camera. Let's see. There we go. Not amazing, but looks okay. But what I think makes this pen truly unique, even though it's a little too close to focus, it's triangular. Yes, round barrel and so on, but yeah, it's a triangular pen, which I just find that interesting. Makes it, I guess, a little easier to grip it, to turn the piston turning knob. I'm not real sure. Now, before I ink it up, I just thought it'd be fun to look at a couple other reforms. I'm amazed, as much as I like my Reform 4328, how few Reform pens I actually own. So I may have to rectify that situation. So this is a Reform 4328. I've done a video on this one. You can see some differences in the clip. It's not triangular, but basically the same body, other than that, whole triangle thing. Unscrew them both. So the 4383, which is not inked up yet, is a little longer nib. But as far as information on the nib, let's try this. Let's try turning off that light. Yeah, ooh. So for close-ups, the fewer shiny things. I think if I had a better environment. But anyway, there's just a bit more. Well, the Reform 4328 has one of those Bach nibs that I really like. The Reform 4383 does not have a Bach nib. Wow. I don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry. I love Kina Pearl. Hello, pen friend. Good to have you. But anyway, we have a Reform nib on this pen that I'm going to be showing you tonight, whereas the 4328 does not. But other than that, and the Reform 4328 is full of ink. Same ink windows, same basic kind of how you screw it on, same section. Joanne says it's better with the light off. Yeah, I agree. It's just showing up better. So let's pull out one other pen to compare it to. We're going to go different end of the Reform pen market. This is, pull this up. This is a Reform 1745, which is a steel nib student pen, which was available into the 70s, at least, maybe later. Steel nib, like I said. Okay, autofocus doesn't quite know what to make of that. Still learning to use this camera. Oh, Johan, welcome. But steel nib, a little bit different idea on the ink window. But again, one of those slim pens, but a little more colorful, I guess, for the student market. So let's ink it up and see how it writes. So what I've selected for my ink tonight, I was going to use one of those Krishna inks, but I'm going to go with Lamy Turquoise because I haven't used it in a long time. And looking at what actually is inked up among my pen collection, I'm lacking any kind of blues at the moment. So I'm going with this. Plus, I grabbed it first before I thought of using the Krishna inks. This has a silicone, before I do that, it has a silicone cork. But I was going to point out, this is supposed to be, according to myoberpens.com, it's supposed to go all the way from a fine to a double broad. Let's try it going this way. In close up. So it looks like it can do it. Of course, if you know Lamy, their ink bottles have a very nice reservoir in them. Just a dimple in the bottom. I really like Lamy ink bottles. I really like Lamy ink. I don't have much of it because their colors aren't super exciting, but it is good stuff. Oh, third fill, I'm still getting a little bubbling. There, we'll call that good. Squeeze out a drop or two. And we'll wipe it off in privacy off screen. So let's see how this thing writes. I'll just remind everybody who's here. Oh, welcome, Joshua Norris. Yeah, I never think to shake my inks. There's a couple that I kind of have to, but for the most part, no, I never think of it. All right, so this is the Reform. Oh, inked myself doing that. Uh-oh. That's not necessarily a bad sign. It's just a sign. This is what happens when you film these live. Okay, here we go. Reform. We were writing just, there we go. So I'll go with myoberpens.com, who says it's a fine to double broad. Eduardo Pascucci has joined us. Peter Katorchka is 8 minutes late. You're not too bad. It's been a lot of me messing with the camera and trying to figure things out, so you didn't miss much. All right, so Form 4383. And the ink in it is Lamy Turquoise. Which I think is a very attractive turquoise color. Oh, thank you. Yes, it is my birthday, so thank you. Luis Zamaripa has joined us. Chris Sains Clifford Baker. Yeah. Oh, good. I'm glad I said it correctly. There's some languages I know better than others. I don't really know any very well except maybe my mutilated form of English, but I try to pronounce them correctly. So Lamy turquoise, and as you can already see, this nib definitely has some flex. I'm getting a little hard starting, but here's the problem. When you first ink up a pen, sometimes they are a little mischievous, and they don't behave as well as they will after everything settles down. May the ink be with me. Oh, thank you. Yes, Multi-Abbott, thank you. Happy birthday. And Joanne W., 100 years more. That'll make me 144 when at that point. Medicine better be vastly improved by then if I'm going to live that long. All right, wetness and flow. I think you can see it's a wet pen. No trouble keeping up. The hard starting thing is a little concerning, but I have the feeling that issue will disappear as I do more writing. The smear test. As I pretty much expected, lots of smearage. Reverse writing, when a nib is particularly flexible, that's always a question. Sometimes they're this one's not god awful, this one's just scratchy. Not terribly impressed. Joanne W., at that point you'll have a lot of pens. Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. I'm going to have to do some curating. I haven't had time to really work on it, but I've been working on a video on curation of a collection, and this collection definitely could use some curation. The nib is fine. Yeah, I believe it is. That's how my Uber pen sells it, and just looking at it, it looks that way. In fact, speaking of Chris Rapp, let me actually put a cap on it, then set it down. I think I might have a useful tool. Hopefully nibs.com doesn't get mad at me for using this. Or no, sorry, not nibs.com. Richard's Pens doesn't get mad at me for using this. But Chris Rapp 52 sent me this. Just gives you an idea of different sizes and what the nib actually is. So, you have binder italics, typical Western round nibs, typical Japanese, which tend to run more fine. So this is Western round. Let's just do a quick, I hesitate to write on the page. Let's just do a quick line here without any pressure. And of course you have the problem that it's also the word isn't coming to me. Not necessarily the best paper. Okay, it looks like that about that line. So maybe an extra fine if we're going, or I don't know. No, it looks more medium for Western. Medium, somewhere between these two, somewhere between fine and medium. And of course, you have your different manufacturer variation also. Make of that what you will. And Richard Binder, if you don't want me using that, I apologize, and let me know and I won't do it again. So I was just about to jump into the world famous Pierre Gustafson test. Yeah, and Clifford Baker, you're right, 3 fills. I did that. I don't know if I really narrated what I was doing, but I did actually do 3 fills on it. That seems to, you're right, clear up a lot of stuff. But sometimes it's just like the pen has to saturate the feed. I have a mobile Monte Rosa that I haven't reviewed yet that is exactly like that. If I were to do a first impression, it would be god-awful. In fact, I know when I first wrote the pen, I thought, oh my God, I've just wasted a bunch of money. But it's quite wonderful if you let it sit overnight. So when I do its video, I'll definitely not be filling it right on camera. Yeah, I think this pen may be like that because it is big time failing this test. So look forward to pens in use this week, which I am very tempted to do live. Get some more things with this camera figured out. I'm doing a review on Wednesday, which will not be live, but anyway, yeah, that was a fail. So we'll see how I feel about the pen by Friday. I think when it's writing, I'm impressed, but when it's not writing, yipe. That is, I don't know if I've had a pen fail the Pierre Gustafson test quite that badly before. Not really what I expected, but again, with this pen, I have no experience with it. And I guess this is a good time to note that this is a first impression, and first impressions are naturally very uninformed and lacking in information. Johan mentions maybe it's about small bubbles stuck in the feed. Yeah. And that's why I think certain of my pens, if they sit overnight, they're fine. You know, I flushed it. I did 3 in and out right there when I filled it. But this may be like that Monte Rosa that just has to sit overnight. So I will update everybody during pens in use later this week. Let's see, one other test I like to do. I need the lights back on for it, I think. Well, maybe I don't, actually. Yeah, that looks like you can see me. Sort of. Oof, everything's backwards. There we go. So one other test I like to do. Oh, that's a problem with this camera. It goes on. This shirt has a little bit thicker fabric, but it goes on it, but not like easily. But yeah, you're bringing up a good point there that it needs to be flushed. Clifford Baker says, actually, it acts like my Lamy All-Star Pacific using that same ink, which ironic. Good point. Sometimes certain inks are a problem. Let's see if it's hiding. Over at this end of my ink case are like my Kyoto tag inks, my Kyoto inks. Was it Keshi Murasaki is one that's needs the right pen. It will take some of my great pens and make them act exactly like that. So yeah, ink is another piece of it. Besides everything else that it could be, the feed, the nib, maybe there's oil in it somewhere, you know, all those little issues. Haven't had that problem with Lamy Turquoise, but you know, you say you have had that problem, so you know, it could easily be the ink, and I don't have a good answer for it. And I think that maybe why I didn't try too hard to put a Krishna ink into it, because I wanted to do a more reliable ink, just because I wanted a good first impression, but you know, the pen feels good, but it's that writing thing. Eek. So we'll see overnight. Johan says, I like the Reform model a lot. A really high quality. Yes, they are very good. Ooh, an italic. That would be kind of fun. Clifford Baker says he uses Monteverde Caribbean Blue, which is almost the same color but flows beautifully. I actually like... I don't have that one. I've got the older Monteverde Turquoise, which I do like a lot. I think they're now calling it Caribbean Blue. I think it's the same ink, although I wouldn't swear to it. Yeah, that is a very good ink. Peter Katorchki, do I have snow outside? Yes, I do. Not a lot of snow, but everything's white right now. I don't know. I guess you can see some white in my neighbor's yard over there. So yeah, there is snow. It is November 5th and we have snow, but you know, we've already been sent home early from school once due to snow, and I had a delightful drive up to Dickinson last month in the snow. So yeah, that's part of the fun of living fun of living in North Dakota. I'm trying to think what else. I haven't had too many questions about this pen. I'm looking at doing a review this week. Oh, hello, Ink Guy. I'm looking at doing a review later this week, tomorrow actually. I'm probably not live streaming it because I got too many things to juggle to do it. But I want to do a review of the fake Parker Sonnet that showed up in Pens in Use on Friday. So I got some good information, so I think it's time to address everything that came up there. Yeah, running dry there. So unless anybody has any other questions, Bayor is, oh no, you're right. Bayor is known as a fake sonnet, but this one is actually labeled as a Parker sonnet, but it is not a Parker sonnet. It has a Parker labeled Parker converter on it. So yeah, it is a fake. The Bayor I don't consider a fake because it doesn't say, hey, I'm a Parker sonnet. It says I'm a Bayor. This is a fake. See, Eduardo Pascucci says, I'm in the dust. Ooh, yeah, if you're in Central California, you're getting all that lovely wildfires and stuff. So, yeah, I don't have that. So, yeah, I can see where you'd enjoy a little bit of snow. Luis Zanoripa says, the Monteverde Monza pen is good, or search for other option economic fountain pen. Yeah, I don't know Monteverde real well. I've used one or two Monteverde pens. That's about it. Johans has to leave because it's 1 a.m. Yeah, it's let's see, almost 5 here. So you're right. I will be doing very soon. I'm thinking Saturday. I'm looking at doing one that's morning for me. I'll have to think up some topic to keep it somewhat pen related. But I'm looking at doing a morning one on. Well, it'll be Saturday morning for me. I'll figure out what it is for you. And anyway, because my European people miss out. Chris Sains says the live streams were fun. Hope I had a great birthday. Actually, I was taking a class through Microsoft Teams today, so it was video stream. So I've been sitting in front of a computer all day. So when I turn this off, I'm going to go interact with real physical, tangible objects and cook myself supper. I'm making enchiladas. I'm using the last of the tomatillos from my garden. And yeah, I'm making chicken enchiladas. Peter Katorchka's, okay. Eduardo is far from the fire. That's good. Peter Katorchka says, do I think you had a hard start with this pen? Is just a feed saturation issue, or can I feel a baby bottom? I don't feel a baby bottom. I mean, it's a smooth pen, but it doesn't have that look of a baby bottom where it's kind of like a butt. Do I want to say butt in this channel? And this paper, I mean, it's a, oh, where did I put the notebook? Over here. The paper in this notebook is sort of not, it's rough enough, and it's a lower quality paper, so it a lot of pens with baby's bottoms don't have a problem on this paper. I'll try to remember. I don't have any labels on it. It's from some supermarket chain in the United Kingdom. I don't remember which one. But anyway, a viewer sent it to me, and I've been using it for first impressions till I run out of paper. Let's see. 652 in New York City. Yeah, it's what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, my parents live on the East Coast. Peter Katorchka. What am I trying to do? There it is. Peter Katorchka's comment got held for review, but I'm not seeing a big problem. You can say little person ass. Looked like when you push it a bit more, it starts better. That's true. Let me just, oh, you know what? There may be some baby's bottom after all. Let me see if I can show you this. I'm going to get up and try and find my loop. Okay. So I did this when I was experimenting a little while back. One of the videos I said, do not watch this, but we'll watch this. So I'm going back down, and yeah, I do see a baby's bottom. You are right. Now, how to fix it will be the next question. Let's see here. Come on. Come on, dude. All right. Nothing holds in place. You know, I'm just fine doing this with my eyeball, between the camera being totally backwards. So make of that what you will. Let's try it maybe from this side. There we go. Trying. And let's just try it with the more closer upper lens. I used to have a camera long ago that I had a loop that snapped right onto it. It was wonderful. This one is not like that. Yeah. What am I doing here? Show. So Peter Katorchka says, I fixed my first baby bottom nib today, but it was a broad nib, so a bit more material to work with, and I did a horizontal fude as a bonus. I hope you don't mean you turned it into a fude, but yeah, anyway, it's there's something with that. I may have to play with that nib just a bit. Now, the fact that it works better when it's wide open, I don't know. I'm not much of a nib meister. I've never done much work with nibs. I've straightened a few, but this is a new one on me. So, you know, my Oberpens has that warranty. I don't really want to go that route, but you know, if I have to, I have to. So we'll see. Yeah. So thank you for suggesting that. I guess that never occurred to me. So I have to figure out how to fix it. So learn something. A little depressing something, but did learn something. So I'm glad I stuck around. So I'm not sure what else I have to add here, unless somebody has a suggestion for fixing it. With that limited amount of tipping material, I'm nervous. How will I fix that? You know, people talk about grinding and so on, but you know, it's almost like right at the very end, the tines are just spread apart, but only at the very end. So I may have to sleep on that a little just to think it through. So anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming. Oh, Peter Katorchka, I would try some different ink first. Yeah, that could be too. And waiting overnight as a first step. You're right. And I may be just jumping the gun with the whole idea of, oh, do I grind it or anything? Clifford Baker says Stephen Brown has a video on fixing bait. Ooh, I'll have to look for that. Yeah, that would be a help. Chris Sains, thanks. Enjoy your supper. It'll take a little cooking, but like I said, I've been on a computer all day, so I'm ready to interact with something real. Ink Guy, when purchased my first Pelican with a broad, I was worried about baby's bottom. Got a Kaweco Sport to practice fixing. Yeah, that's one of the problems I have had with Kaweco broads. I like their finer nibs better. So anyway, I want to thank everybody for watching. I am learning this camera. It has potential. I will be curious to see how well the audio sync goes. Clifford Baker says try Aurora Black in it also, see if it does. Ooh, yeah. Aurora Black would be a very good ink to try. So yeah, I will see what happens. So I will do some kind of an update, probably still with this ink on Friday during pens in use. And then depending on where the ink is at with the pen, you may see a further update next week during pens in use. Because I think I want to play around with this pen till I get it working. So I want to thank everybody for watching. And I'm going to go eat some chicken enchiladas with tomatillos. So we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.